All right. Looks like I don't know what happened to my live stream. It went dead on me. So hopefully everybody will join back up on this one. Um, yeah. Well, we're talking about that transmission and the spark plugs and everything else. I hope everybody can catch up to what's going on. But it's quite an interesting thing. I'm gonna see if I can't go to the Facebook group and put the link to this in the Facebook group and let everybody know that I'm live on there on MACT Ford Edge on YouTube. Let's see if I can do this. I don't know. This is all new to me, folks. Maybe I'll get better as I go. But yeah, I'm running on Wi-Fi. I got my new fiber optic hooked up too, and that's allowing me to do a lot more with what I'm doing there. I posted the link up in the Facebook group, so hopefully folks can actually see that and go there and join up in the group. But let me work this through. I'm trying. I'm working it out. I'm trying. It's quite the endeavor, I think, as far as getting things going. There we go. I think I'm doing it. Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to get everything figured out here. Let me see if we're still back up. I got 3 of you back. Sorry for the drop off. I wasn't expecting that, but glad that you all did come back. Anyway, type in your questions on the right-hand side so I can see them. I do not know why it froze up. It's an old laptop. Who knows what's going on? But again, my first foray into this, and maybe I need to learn a little bit more about streaming, but I thought it was pretty simple. Just go live with the webcam, but apparently something froze up. So we'll just carry on smartly. But if you guys could let me know again, if you can hear me and all this good stuff, that would be beneficial. And then ask me questions. What do you want to know? What do you want to know about it? I'm even open to a few questions about me. If you guys really want to ask something, I can try to give you the best answer I can, just so you get to know me a little bit better and what I'm doing and why I'm doing all this with the Ford. Thank you. So how are you now? You say, how are me now? Gotta love it. Yeah. But computers not my foray. It makes my video editing. I used to do my old computer take 3 hours to edit a video, to render it and all this stuff. And I got the new computer. We're talking 10 minutes to render a video, maybe 15, and that's fast. And then I got fiber optic changeover, and now my uploads are done in minutes. That's right. I have saved myself hours by getting a new computer and going fiber optic. I don't have hours of just waiting and waiting and waiting anymore. I can literally start another video editing in minutes, it seems. So it's been a beneficial thing. I'm breaking up. Okay, I don't know. It says here I got a fantastic signal, so I don't know if it's a YouTube thing or what the deal is, but my internet signal says I'm really strong. So I can't tell you what's going on because I'm literally 20 feet away from the antenna, and I don't know. It's just the way it is. It's probably YouTube. That's probably what it is. I tried Facebook, and Facebook has the problems too. Live is generally, I think, not always up to speed. I think it's about signal strength and processing and everything. Plus, who knows? Maybe YouTube's just monitoring every word I say to make sure I'm being behave. But that's pretty much it. Anyway, they're wondering. Also, I do have an oil change that I'm going to be doing on my 2019, but it will not be like a lot of videos you see, oil change on a 2019. It is going to be a oil change on a 2019 and the installation of the newest Fumoto valve for the 2.0 EcoBoost, which is designed for the EcoBoost. It's hot off the presses, so I'm going to be putting that on there and doing that oil change that way. And oil changes on a 2.0 EcoBoost compared to a 3.5 Duratec on the older edges, completely different critter. Holy cow, they are different. Okay, that's all I can say. It's not toolless anymore. You got to take panels off and everything else. So it makes it a pain in the patuki. And that's just the way it is. You go up to the newer vehicles and you got to deal with that mess. So I'm going to be dealing with that. Then coolant. I'll tell you, I'm going to be doing the coolant video. And my plan is to do two different versions. One is going to be a simple drain and fill. The other one is a vacuum system. I do have a vacuum system kit to suck the coolant out through the degas bottle. So I'll be doing two of them to show you what I'm doing for both. And my whole goal between it is to be one video basically. But we're going to compare how much fluid do I get out of the EcoBoost by draining and how much fluid do I get out through a vacuum system. It'd be interesting to see what volume you get out with either one, because the system only holds like 9 quarts or something like that. It's under 10, which is less because it's a 4-cylinder compared to the Duratec. Also, I'll be changing over from the orange to the Peak 10X. So that's what I'm going to be doing on that. All things fair and square. I will also not want to scare you all to death on the 2.0 EcoBoost, because I've been reading and reading and reading, and I've determined that, and I've already knew this, that the plumbing system on a 2.0 EcoBoost and a 2.7 EcoBoost X, okay, far more complex. We're talking a lot more linear footage of hoses. And by the looks of it, I chuckled when I talked to Mano. I told him, I says, literally, it looks like half the volume of the coolant is in the hoses. It is insane. Ford's got this thing plumbed hard, and they're sending coolant in all directions. So, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. I'll lay it all out for y'all. And you'll see what I'm talking about. But holy cow, that's going to be fun. And then what do? How do you get the air bubbles out and all this other stuff? So it'll be a neat experience in that aspect. But if you do a drain and fill, you got more chance for air bubbles. If you do a vacuum, you have less chance for bubbles. So keep that in mind. Pluses and minuses there. Other things that I have been working on. Lots of owner's manual. You guys know that book they give you that's in the glove compartment that has lots of words in it and some pictures? I took that out and I was looking at it, and then I got really inventive and I says, well, why am I reading the book? Why can't I just take and read it directly from my phone? So I went to my Ford Pass, and right there's the owner's manual at your fingertips on your phone. You can go through, find whatever you want. Okay, so my Ford Pass for the win, provided me information at my fingertips. So I didn't even have to go out to the car. I only wanted the car. I went to the Ford Pass and I found the same thing. So it all worked out in the end. But interesting enough, for all of you who have the 2019 Ford Edge, and I didn't go back to look if the 18s are this way, but how we promote the red line lightweight shockproof? guess what is within spec for the PTU? For all of those of you who are concerned, the Redline lightweight shockproof is now winded by Ford. That's right. Ford recommends a much lighter gear lube now. So that is a big change. They used to use that thick as paste stuff, and now Ford has went down to, I wanted to say, gosh, what was it? I got it right here. It let's see if I can find it again. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Holy cow, I lost it. Let's see. That's in the owner's manual. I found it. As far as the PTU, it holds 12.7 fluid ounces, plus or minus 1.7 ounces. Okay, so it could hold up to 14 or less than 12, depending on what you're taking in and out. But as far as the PTU goes, the rear differential is now a straight 75 weight for the 2019 for the RDU. The power transfer unit is now a 75W85, which is the Redline lightweight shockproof weight. That's right. So that's a big change from what Ford was saying for the PTUs before. Okay, so 2019 is now showing lighter weight for the PTU and the RDU. They want lighter weight oils for both of them. Now, why is this? Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact of the intelligent all-wheel drive system. They can't be having all these shifts going on that they're doing and trying to manage the system when they're using toothpaste for gear oil. So they've had to lighten it up. Now, what does that do in the long run? Don't know. But rest assured, Ford has now switched to lighter weight gear lubes for the PTUs. And I know specifically for my 2019 and on, you're going to be using a lighter weight gear lube in your PTU and RDU. It's interesting they chose a straight up 75 weight for the RDU, but I'm still going to put the Redline lightweight shockproof in my RDU when I come up to that point that I got to do it, because there's very little difference in there. And I tell you what, nothing better than throwing a bunch of Smurfs in your PTU and calling it a day, right? We all love the blue color. Why not? Makes it fun. But that is really the biggest thing there. My first live stream is still up and running. Interesting, because I'm not even on it. Who knows what's happening? I don't know. I can't figure it out. We'll just carry on smartly. If I got 2 live streams going, then I do. Everybody can watch and enjoy either way. I just can't see the other live stream right now. So I could try to see if I can't go up and catch up, because my computer froze up. So that's all I can tell you that happened to me as far as what was going on. And it's all new to me, trust me. So I don't even know how to take and check all this stuff out. It's pretty tough on my end as far as everything goes. So I'm gonna go check out my YouTube channel and see if I got 2 live streams working. But you guys got questions, by all means, ask them. I'm gonna go and see videos here and see if I got 2 live streams going. If I do, then I'll see if I can't end one of them. Yeah, I do. I got 2 live streams going. I have no idea why. This is interesting. Let's see if I can see it on YouTube. See if I can catch up to whatever you guys are doing. Let's see. I do see all sorts of comments here that are going on. So, but it looks like I'm frozen. Amazing, amazing that this world of internet. Oh, it'll all get sorted out in the end, I'm sure. Yeah, I think we'll just stick with it. Yeah, the other one's not actually working. It's stuck because I went to this one. So if you can see me moving my pie hole, then you know you got the right one. The other one locked up on me. I don't know what happened to it, but that's the way it is. Let's see. Yes, the B6 struts can use the OEM springs on the new struts is the question. I'm going to assume you can. I haven't delved into the I forget what brand they are, Belstein. I haven't delved into those because, quite frankly, I just don't need shocks and struts right now. It would be something I would be interested in to put on my 2019 in the future. It's only got 8,000 miles on it. I don't need anything for it. I mean, plus it's all under warranty. Holy cow! I'm not going to tear things apart just because. Although I did do that a few places. Thankfully, my neighbor got his weed whacker started. God bless him. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Anyway, let's see. Victor, check out a Facebook group. We just posted some cruise control video. I'm going to tell you, as far as cruise control, everything in the vehicle has to be working without any codes. If you have any codes whatsoever, your cruise control will not work. It's sort of like your remote start. If you have codes, your remote start won't work either if you have that. So that's something to keep in mind, and something to check if you're having issues is to check the codes and make sure there's no codes. Let's see. Why does it seem the engine of a 2017 Edge occasionally cuts off for 2 to 3 seconds while driving? What engine do you have, first of all? I don't, there could be any number of issues. Is it a Sport with a 2.7? Does it have a 3.5 in it, or is it a 2.0 EcoBoost? I'd be guessing if I didn't know any further information. Brake switch. That's right. We have a lot of people that fall to the failure of the brake switch when changing out the brake booster. Also, the brake switch, if that's not correct, and you changed out the booster, you're going to have all sorts of other issues, is starting and shifting and everything else with your Edge, because it won't think it's in park. It won't think the brakes are on. So these systems are all reliant upon each other communicating, meshing together, and saying, yeah, I'm good. Let's handshake it, and we can start. Without the handshake, you're not going to get it to work the way you want it to work. It'll run, but it may not do what you want it to do. So that handshake is very, very important as far as dealing with things. Somebody mentioned here is it an auto start stop? Could that be a problem, with your Edge too? I don't use auto start stop. I hit the off button out of habit anymore, just because I don't use it. It's a pain to me. But it doesn't always turn off when you first start the edge. If you got the AC on and it's hot, it's not going to turn off. And if you got the heat on and it's cold, it ain't going to turn off. It has to meet a lot of parameters to allow the auto start stop to actually function. And then once it meets all those, then it'll start working that way. And that's how it is. But keep in mind, they did put a little heavier starter in those things, and they went to the AGM battery to provide more deep cycle power because they recognized what was going on there. Yes, it has remote started. It's a titanium. Okay. Well, still, you didn't answer my question. What engine? A titanium can have a 3.5 or a 2.0. So we're narrowing it down, but we still ain't quite there. Yeah. So you're either your EcoBoost or your Duratec, one of the two at this point. Okay, now I'm seeing 4-cylinder EcoBoost. And you're saying that it is powering down. Is the engine cutting off, or are you saying you're losing power? And if you're saying your EcoBoost is losing power, the number one most common issue that's coming up with the EcoBoost, the 2.0, is the turbo wastegate failure. When the turbo wastegate stops working, you lose power. You may feel like it's shutting off, but all you're doing is losing a whole lot of power you're used to having, and it may feel that way. So you might want to check for codes, monitor your wastegate on PIDs, on ForeScan, on your phone, which you can do. You can load ForeScan Lite on your phone. You can then monitor it real time to what your wastegate's doing, what your pressures are doing, and you can find out what's going on. You can also read codes on your phone using ForeScan Lite. And I got videos in YouTube on that, and you can check and see yourself what's going on. And if you do a little research, you'll find out whether your boost pressure is dropping on you. And if that's the case, that would probably make you feel like you're losing power, and you're losing a lot of power, because the 2.0 EcoBoost is very reliant upon the turbo. And if the turbo ain't giving it any kick, it's going to feel like you're driving a 1-cylinder lawnmower. So yeah, that's about where you're at. Yeah, and it's intermittent. Okay, as it begins to fail, it'll get worse, and then it'll completely fail. So if you're having intermittent issues, then you need to check all that out. So yep, you got to check the codes. You got to monitor the boost pressures and see where you're losing it and what's going on there. It could be anything else. You got to read the codes. These engines are so dependent on the computer, the PCM, to talk to the OBD2 to give you information on it. Gone are the days where you got a carburetor and you can just hold the valve cover in your hand and say, hey, I got a problem, or listen to it. It's not as simple as it was. So you have to break out the tech, and that's very important when you're taking and working on your Ford Edge, is having the tech to be able to determine what's going on. So that means you got a learning curve that you got to take and start figuring things out with your phone if you want to be self-sufficient on all this and to, help yourself. And I didn't know everything. Granted, I've been working on cars since I was old knee-high to a grasshopper. I was 14. I was changing out engines and transmissions on my car. I was driving at 14. I bought my first car when I was 15. And I was working on my dad's cars and everything else. And in time I was 16, 17, me and my brother could change an engine out in our car in a matter of just an hour or two. It did not take us long. We could change it, but cars were simpler back then. So Well, as far as water pumps, Jeffrey H., he said water pump failure. Well, if you stop and think about how often water pumps are failing on the 3.5 and 3.7 Duratec, I think your mind would be blown because it is not as many as you think. You got to stop and think the 3.5 Duratec and the 3.7 have been around a long time. And Ford had made that the staple of most engines in a lot of vehicles all over the world. So, that being said, the number of water pump failures that we're all scared about is not nearly as high as you think they are when you look at the total number of engines out there. And, my Toyota Highlander I have is on its third water pump, and it's only got 174,000 miles on it. My 2011 Ford Edge that I kindly call Lulu Bell is at almost 309,000 miles and is on the original water pump. So how long do they last? I don't know. I'll let you know when mine fails. Then we'll know how long they can last. But we also know that they do fail as low as 50,000 miles. It just depends. But care and maintenance is predominant. And I'm also going to say the harder you run it, the higher your probability of water pump failure. So if you jackrabbit start that thing and run it hard and drive it like a race car that it isn't, face it, you're abused like I am. The coolant is a lubricant. Lubricants, water pumps love lubricant. Oil changes. Oil changes are important because, after all, the water pump's here, and on each side of the water pump is the oil here and the coolant here. The water pump wants to have both. It's like your spoiled kid. It wants everything from mom and dad. That's it. It wants everything. So you got to give it everything. I only use synthetic oils, and I use the Peak. And granted, my car is all highway, so we got a lot of straight 2,000 RPM runs. That's right. So does that help? I'm going to say yes. The Ford Edge is a highway vehicle, folks. There is no if, and, or but about it. The Ford Edge is designed to run, and to run long distances for long periods of time. City driving will kill any car. So if you do city driving, it requires more maintenance. That's right, because everything gets worn out faster. Let's see. Jeffrey, 150,000 miles up, changing coolant often, and you should be fine. Drive normal. It's not a race car. Exactly. That's the number one key to everything, folks. 156 kilometers, so maybe 95,000 miles. So, yeah. Here's the thing. Have you changed your brake fluid yet? Have you changed your power steering fluid yet? Yeah, there's a lot of fluids. I always tell everybody when you buy a used Ford Edge, the dealers, I changed the oil. Yeah, what'd you put in it? Dollar General oil? They changed the oil. They're not lying, but what did they use? So, when you buy a used car, my exception to this is I bought Lilu under warranty with 6,000 miles on her. She's new. I'm not going to run out and change all the fluids. That's just crazy on that aspect. But if I bought a 2011 today and I had 100 and some thousand miles on it, as soon as I got home, I'd be draining every drop out of it, of everything, and replacing it, irregardless of what that person told me. Because why? Because you can't trust them. You just can't. People say things. That's all I can say. Just like the Toyota guy who I bought the Toyota from. Oh, yeah, the shocks are great. Yeah, the original shocks with 175,000 miles on them. Are they great? No. I knew that. I wasn't crazy. I knew I'd be buying new shocks for it. Struts. I knew that, but hey, when the wife wants something like a Toyota, you get her the Toyota and call it a day. And then you deal with the problems later. Anyway, got new struts on it. So anyway, this is not the Toyota page. This is the Ford Edge page. But anyway, As far as things go, yeah, maintenance is key, folks. And if you notice anything about this group and everything about this channel, it's all about maintenance and repairs. Uh, I have projects that I'm doing. I'm doing things on my edge that I never really did before, like taking the wiper motor off, despite the fact the wiper motor wasn't even broke. Why? Because I made a video on it, and I can use Lulubelle and Blueberry now as platforms to do more repairs as time goes for things that I've been putting off doing because I didn't have backup vehicles. That's the key. I didn't have backup vehicles. Now I have Lilu, my 2019 Edge. I have a backup vehicle, so I can take one vehicle down and still have enough vehicles for everybody to drive it and not worry about it. So, got a backup vehicle. Doing the fan cowling. I'll show you the fan cowling. I got this fan cowling right here, or cowling for the front end, and I'm cleaning this thing up. I just have to use some alcohol on it, and then I'm going to paint it with that body molding painting, and we're going to install this one, since it's not broken, on the Lulubelle. But yeah, that's really what I'm aiming for as far as what's going on with work on there. Lulubelle, I got to replace the cowling from the hail damage, and that is the cowling that I got off of Blueberry. And since Blueberry's had one little crack in it, I fixed that, and it's overall in much better shape than Lulu's is. So I'm just going to pull the wipers off. I'm going to spray paint this one and put this one on. I'll do a video on that, doing that replacement there. You guys see me do this. It's just the only difference is I'm painting this one with this body trim paint and doing that. So I'll be working on that as time goes. Let's see. I don't know. We got Radiator Fans. Yeah, we had a lot of questions on fans. I might as well address this here since a lot of folks are always asking about this. And you know, if your AC heating and not blowing hot air when you're say you're driving down the interstate, AC is working great. You're doing 70 mile an hour. AC's working fine. Engine's not overheating. Everything's happy. It's a great day. And then you pull up into the city and you start getting into heavy traffic. Next thing you know, your AC ain't working. Or, even worse yet, your car is now starting to overheat. But amazingly enough, you get out of the city and you start driving full speed again, 70 mile an hour, and now the AC is working and now the car is not overheating. What does that tell you? It tells me your fans aren't working. Now, if it's just the AC that ain't working, that tells me your fans aren't working because one fan runs the AC, one fan runs the engine coolant. Okay, so they're interlinked. So if you're having these problems, it's your fans, and the fans are a very common failure. A lot of people say, well, the fan is running. Yeah. Is it just sort of going around like a lazy Susan, or is it sounding like a hurricane? If it's so loud that you have to yell to talk, your fans are working. If you can talk over it easily, your fans aren't working. They may be spinning, but they're not working. Keep in mind, those fans have to move enough air that's equivalent to 45 mile an hour flow. That means you're driving down the road at 45 mile an hour and that air is forced through that radiator and condenser. Okay? That's the lowest point of cooling for the Ford Edge. The faster you go, the better it cools. But if you're not moving, those fans have to move air the equivalent of better than 45 mile an hour to help cool those. So if those fans aren't moving enough to create that kind of airflow, then your fans are bad. That's all there is to it. Now, oil changes. I know that I don't want to get into an oil discussion. All I can say is watch my oil videos. I did a lot of testing on new and used oils, and you should really change your oil based on your driving conditions. I will also state that everybody drives differently. My wife drives a ton different than I do. I'm all highway, interstate. I can get 10 to 12,000 miles. But on the same token, Ford's recommendation for the four-cylinder, 2.0 EcoBoost is 7,500 miles or the oil life monitor. So that means we have more frequent oil changes. I have not had enough experience with my oil changes and lab testing to determine whether Ford's right on this. I'm doing my first oil change on it here very shortly, and I'll send a sample off to see where it's at here very shortly, and I'll send a sample off to see where the is. And I'll do another run, and I'll keep real good, on what's going on. But right now, I'm at a loss, other than knowing I'm at this, and I do know how many hours, because I wasn't there when it was changed, and I don't have records of when it was changed. So, and since it's got over 8,000 miles on it, I'm at least once, because they change the oil and reset the oil life. So I'm going to assume this car has anywhere I don't know. And it's probably a synthetic blend. So I'm tossing in the Redline Professional SN Plus as a replacement and a Purelator Boss filter. So those will be the two things that I'll be doing, and then I'll be able to keep track of what's going on. But I'll send this oil sample off to see what it says. But going a year without an oil change, yeah, well, I went like 2.5 years or 3 years on my Ford Ranger, but then again, I only drove it 1,700 miles in 3 years. So, it just didn't run it very far. So I put a new filter in it and new oil, and good to go. It's not my daily driver. It's my go to the Home Depot truck. Occasionally runs. Whenever I got to haul something, I don't run it every day. It stays in the garage most of the time. So it's 23 years old. I'm just trying to take care of it. But your daily drivers, you got to base it on what you drive. The new oil life monitors are pretty accurate, really, to determine and help you determine when you change your oil. I think they're a little on the conservative side. So you could probably run longer, but hey, lab testing would tell you if you could run longer. So I'm not telling you to run past the oil life monitor unless you know that your oil's good yet. And you may see me in the future running past my oil life monitor just because I know the oil's still good. But I will not do that until I determine through lab testing that the oil's still good. So, not a real good answer. You can pick any oil you want. My 3.5 Duratec, as I tell people, has ran over 30 brands of oil, and it has almost 9,000 miles on it, 309,000. And no one oil can make the claim to fame that it got it to that point. So, and we're talking the cheapest stuff you can find to the most expensive stuff you can find. So there's nothing saying that the most expensive oil or the cheapest oil or the more moderate oil got me where I'm at. They all had a hand in it, and the thing they all had in common was synthetic oils, or marketed as synthetics. And earlier today, I answered a question about maintenance. Bring that up, and just like Jeffrey H said, just keep in mind the Ford maintenance intervals are the minimum maintenance. The minimum maintenance. Okay? In other words, what can we do to get you to drive your vehicle until it blows up past its warranty and a time for you to buy a new car? Most people, some will pay to have their vehicles replaced, but an engine or transmission failure is usually the straw that broke the camel's back. So rather than paying for the repair, that is really a large bill in your mind, they can say, well, I can go trade it in and I can buy this newer car that has a warranty, and the only problem is I have to pay for it for the next 7 years, so I'm going to pay $20,000 vice paying $3,000 for a new engine, and that's it. So I'm paying a way more to fix rather than the thing. And I always tell everybody the best used car you got is the one in your driveway. It's so true. I got used cars. I've always bought used cars. The closest I got right now to a new car, and I don't even consider it a new car because it had 6,000 miles on it, but dealerships and the bank think that a used car or a new car with less than 7,000 miles qualifies as a new car. So technically, I have a 2019 that I bought new, and I paid dearly for it. I mean, I paid a lot of money for that car. But why did I do it? One, I wanted to get into the EcoBoost. I've been running the Duratex forever, and it's time to jump into the EcoBoost world and start playing games in there. So, one, I says I'm not going to buy an 18 because if I'm going to buy an EcoBoost Ford Edge, I want the 6F or the 8F 35 transmission. That's right. I want the 8-speed transmission, and I want the newest and latest, greatest EcoBoost, and the latest and greatest design changes that 2019 came out with dial shift and all that other stuff. So that's the number one reason why I bought a 2019. Now, what's the setback in that? Well, the 8F35 is the first year is 2019 that they brought that bad boy out. So here I am on the cuspice of being the consumer guinea pig for Ford on the this 8F35 transmission. So we'll see. We'll see where it's going. They've been at the 2.0 EcoBoost long enough, so I think we'll probably see 500,000 mile Explorer. That thing's probably, when you get in the seat on that thing, does it feel like an old comfortable pair of slippers? That's the way Lou feels to me. I get in Lou, and it's just so comfortable. Even the seat has that little ridge right up between my, yeah. Yeah, it's just molded right to my behind. Lou's like an old comfortable T-shirt and socks, and slippers. Lou is just Lou, and I love that vehicle for what it is. I even felt so confident in Lou, I went and redid my XM Sirius radio subscription. So I ought to tell you my confidence I have in Lou. I'm going to drive Lou for a while. You never know. So, we'll see. If it does, I'll just end the subscription. That's all I can do. But, Lou does flaky. I got her back on the road, did about 1,000 miles, and all the engine noises went away. So, yeah, she didn't like it. And the brakes went to, crap on me, so I had to put new brakes on her. That was sad because that was like $500 worth of brake rotors and pads. But, they just didn't last. So that's pretty much how that all ended up being, and going from there. Let's see. Nobody else. No more questions. So I gave myself a time frame of about 1 hour, so we're running across that here pretty soon. Pardon me for drinking, but I'm thirsty. It is 96 degrees in this garage. Holy cow. So you're going to have to excuse me for drinking water. You get dehydrated right here on camera. Just fall out, and y'all can call 911 later. Call my wife. Tell her bring the garden hose and just hose me down. Anyway, yeah. But I got a lot of different projects and videos I've been working on. So I'm hoping that you all do that and come to speak up. I want to ask you guys a question. You can answer it here in the comments on the chat. I've been doing the TSBs and SSMs and field service actions, FSAs, and all this other stuff. I've been doing videos on those, and some of them tend to be pretty short. Should I keep doing those? The viewing on them is very buddy. Even if I'm helping 2 or 3 people, then it's worth it. but am I helping anyone with it, and should I continue it? Because I really don't want to sit there and spin my wheels on this stuff if I'm not, really going to be going, anywhere with it. I need to make things. Yeah, I'm sort of stuck. The investment status, where it's going, just the way it is. I got a budget, and my YouTube budget has to cover the stuff that I buy to do the videos for, the equipment that I have to buy because video cameras aren't cheap, and all this other stuff. And then when I go out and do stuff, plus, everything I do, there's very few videos that I don't have to buy something for to do the video. That's my whole point. It takes a little bit of money. There's no such thing as a free video. It takes something. I just spent, $15 or $100 or more just to get a new computer to edit videos. Yeah, that takes a lot out of the budget. So it all adds up. Because I had a laptop, I could do Facebook and everything else from the laptop, but the laptop can't handle doing the videos. So, that's where it was. So it's just a reality situation. I live within my budget, and if I can't have something, I can't have it. Save up for it and get it later. That's really how you got to do it. So you live within your means, right, folks? You all know that. We all budget our repairs, we budget our maintenance, we plan for things. And then when something pops up, we're like pulling our hair out, go, where am I going to get the money? And, I'm there sitting at the kitchen table with you guys trying to figure out what bill to pay. So that's sometimes where it's at. Anywho, park detect switch. You mean the shift to park? The shift to park switch is down inside the shift lever. So if that's broken, if you go to Facebook group, shift and type in the shift to park, find the thread that covers the repair, and we might even have that in the file section too. Don't blame me, and do not shoot man on me for the disarray of the file section, because quite frankly, Facebook is horrible at filing. They do not allow us to group things together like they do photos into albums. They do not allow us to put files into folders. If Facebook were to ever do that, we would have so much more organization. We do use a Google Drive, and you can get access by going to mactgarage.com, and you can look at different files and everything on mactgarage.com, which is also, by the way, where you can go to social media and you can buy stickers and t-shirts and all sorts of stuff. And there's also owner's manuals. There's parts you can buy, Amazon links to a lot of stuff for all the different model years of the Ford Edge we got. We may have to update it here pretty soon, because I don't think we have the 2018 or 2019 plus model year on there, but we'll have to update all that too. Let's see. I don't know. My mother-in-law has 11 MKX with a transmission not in park message. That's the shift to park. Yeah, you gotta. It could be the switch, or it could be the actual cable itself. So you'll have to check that out further to determine what it actually is. But a lot of times it's that little micro switch they have in there that could be the problem. Traction control light, ABS, and seatbelt sign come on all the time. Well, the seatbelt one, I'm not so sure about what that's all about. If you got your seatbelt on, I mean, there could be a crosslink. My thing here, I'm going to say, is one. Let's start at the basics. Enel, roll on. Yeah, Enel, roll on. You want to start at the basics. One, what is the condition of your car battery? The Ford Edge is a very power-hungry beast. You could be having problems just because your car battery. So check your charging system and check your battery and make sure it's got proper voltage. If those check out, I'm going to say the seat belt probably is a separate issue. But the traction control and ABS, check your tone rings on your axles. You probably have bad sensor, you got a broken tone ring. Those would be the next one. There's also, I think, a TSB out on traction control, but that was for much older edges. But I would start out with those basic things. Inspect those tone rings and make sure they're in good shape. Make sure that your battery's in good shape, because you're talking a 2015. You're talking, an older battery if you're still running the original battery, and it's probably at its end of life, which would mean you would probably have power issues. Your power loss of low voltage will cause all sorts of electrical gremlins in your Ford Edge and create all sorts of problems within the electrical systems. It could give you all sorts of readings. So I would start with that battery first and see if it's any good, because that's a 5-year-old battery, and that, probably about time to replace her. Let's see, what else? Okay, I'm getting up to my hour time frame, and like I said, I didn't want to go on for a long time. This is my first one I've done. I got to figure out what's going on my camera, because it looks like I'm in a fog. I don't know if you guys are seeing me in a fog, but I look like I'm in a fog. So, I got to experiment to see what's going on. Car alarm stopped ringing, and I was happy, and my wife was happy. And if your wife's happy, you should be very happy. And that's all that really counts. But anyway, my feet hit the floor today, folks, and I'm having a great day. And I want you to have a great day, too. And I'll try to reschedule one in the future for another MACT Live. Let me know down below what y'all think.